Making chicken pot pie with garlic, onions, celery, carrots, if I have them, peas, a little bit of potato, a little bit of garlic. I always put garlic in everything. It's going to be a healthy meal that's delicious and not hard to do. So just anybody can do it. The only thing I ever insist on in the kitchen, other than what I have on hand, is a good set of cooking knives. They're expensive, but hey, ask for them for Christmas or your birthday. And say, I just want a good set of knives, because you're lost in your kitchen without a good set of knives. I'm going to loosely cut up some onions. They don't have to be chopped fine or anything like that, unless you like them real fine. I'm not going to chop them real fine. This pan, I've had it for a long time, but it works. Class lit. Butter. I'm actually making 2 chicken pot pies, so I doubled the recipe. I use real butter, no margarine. There we go. One thing my grandmother always taught me, clean as you go. Always have a kitchen sink full of dishwater. Clean your dishes as you go. And your hands are always clean. The skin's the healthiest part of the potato, so if you can leave the skin on it when you're cooking, cut it in small cubes. This is a really good meal for people if they don't have a lot of time. You come home from work and you're just tired. A lot of this stuff can be prepped ahead of time. You can cut up the onions and the celery and the carrots, and it all be cut up and put in the freezer in a bag. And when you need it, take it out and throw it in a pan with some butter and garlic. I buy the pastry cells already made, just to save time, because some people you just don't have that kind of time anymore. People just don't. So you buy the pastry cells already made. All you got to do is bake them, and that way you save money. I buy carrots and celery when they're fresh, cut them up, and freeze them. And for my chicken pot pie, because I want the carrots soft, I'm going to put them in with my onions and garlic and let them soften up. And these carrots are a little bit chunky, but you can make them smaller if you want to. Put my lid on there and let that simmer. And that'll simmer while I do everything else. This is the chicken that's frozen. It's still a little frozen, so to me it's a little easier to cut up when it's just still just a little bit frozen. And I cut it into small cubes, so when I go to cook it, I don't have to do anything else to it. Just season it, cook it, and then it'll be ready for my sauce. I throw my potatoes in there because I want them to soften up as well. You don't want hard vegetables in your chicken pot pie. You want them nice and soft. And I have a variation. Every time I make this, it's different. Sometimes I don't put potatoes in it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I put peas in it. Sometimes I don't. You can put lima beans in it if you like lima beans. If that's your food of choice, by all means, put whatever you want to in it. Broccoli, anything. I need this to simmer for a little bit, not long, because I need that to soften up. I need my vegetables to soften up, so that when I go to put them in my pie, they will be nice and soft and nobody will break a tooth on a carrot. And I don't have a lot of pots and pans. I don't. I have pots and pans. This pan is one of my favorite pans. I need a new one. They're 20 bucks. But until this one absolutely dies, I'm going to use it. Right now. good thing about this, I can set it on the counter. I don't need to have a stove for it. Oil, olive oil, garlic oil, whatever you got, sesame oil, sunflower oil, any kind of oil that you like. Put that in there, let it. One thing that you need, I have a cabinet full of spices, and I use every single spice I have. I may not use them all the time, I may not use them often, but I use them. So they're not up here for looks, they're actually here to be used. Excuse me while I grab my lid. Oops. And some salt and pepper. I don't care. And we're going to let these things cook. It's really hard when your husband's holding the camera, who is not allowed in my kitchen to begin with, and he's underneath my feet. But I'm going to cook these. They're cooking up pretty nicely. You can see that. They're but I need to soften them, so I'm going to need to cook them for about 15 minutes. So they'll soften up once they get into the pastry shell. And in the oven, they'll cook up real nice, and all the flavors will be meshed in together. Beautiful stuff. See, it doesn't take very long, maybe 5 minutes for your chicken, which is fine. Oh, my carrots are softening up pretty nice. That's all I want is my carrots to get soft. Once my carrots are soft, I'm good to go. And I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. You notice I'm using the same spoon for this as I did for this. It doesn't hurt a thing. Turn that down. Okay. You're going to use it all together when you're done, so it doesn't really matter. 15 spoons. Unless you're cooking something that's a sauce and that's not going to go together, this is all going to go together. It's one dish, or in our case two, because we have to make some for other people who are dying to get this. Okay, my sauce. Real simple sauce. Real simple. Depending on how thick I want it, I may add a little bit more flour. I don't know. I need water. I'm going to make basically a gravy, but it's going to be a white gravy, and it's going to be a thick white gravy. So what I want to do, milk and water.
How much is the mix?
Pardon?
How much is the mix?
About half and half. Some more milk if you want a little creamier, less milk if you want it thinner. If you don't, you can use any kind of milk you want. If you use like 2% or 1% milk, don't use any water, just use the milk. I like whole milk. Sue me. Notice I didn't pour all of the milk and flour in there because that was my entire intention. You add this as you're working. And make sure I get all that flour mixed up in there. That should be good. Throw this back in the fridge. Oh, they're soft now. Okay, what I'm going to do, turn it off because they're soft.